Hi everybody, it's Peter Zallen's Griniflix Adventurate and welcome to another video. Today I have my monochrome, Leica Monochrom M10-Monochrom. Love using this camera. I love committing to black and white, so I might just convert this video to black and white and continue. The lens that I have on here is the Elmar F4, and it's actually a Leica M lens, sort of a zoom lens going from 16mm to 21mm. There are indents, so it goes from 16, 18 and 21, so it's not a huge range as far as wide angle is concerned. So 16 the widest, 18 and then 21 the narrowest, so it's still a wide angle lens. The interesting thing about it is it does actually focus down to 0.5 meters, which is really nice. And then depending on what f-stop you choose, you could have a range of focus all the way probably right down to 0.3 meters here. If you have focal length of 16mm and you choose f22 as far as the aperture is concerned, so it's a really tiny aperture, then you've got your range lines here, and you can see that f22 is all the way around here, and that will give you sort of minimum focus of around 0.25 meters probably, and all the way up to infinity if you're shooting f22. So we've got good light around here. F22, I'll have that in focus and everything else in focus here. So alright, so what else you might notice is I've got this optical viewfinder that gives me also a range of 16mm focal length as far as field of view, right up to 28mm. So in this case here 16 to 21, so it's got 16, 18, 21, 24, 28. I'll talk a bit more about that. And then also you've got this parallax error that the frame lines in there are adjusted to how close your subject is. So my subject's right there. Okay, about to take the shot, and we'll try that. So theoretically I should have got the GoPro in. Yep. What else can I tell you about the lens? Yeah, so 16, 18 and 21 is basically 3 indent levels, but then if you sort of stop in between, where you're going to have a focal length that's sort of in between the settings here. It's not a big range, so it doesn't really make much sense to stop in between. What I'm finding is I'm either choosing 21 or I'm choosing 16. Yes, focus is down at 0.5 meters. I think with the focus, and particularly with the f-stop, even if you're choosing f4, there's no point in focusing other than estimating your range. If I'm photographing the GoPro, then I'm guessing that the range is probably about 0.4 meters. So if I put on 0.5, it's going to be in focus, and according to the range focus here at 0.4, I'm going to have anything between 0.45. Okay, the minimum focus is 0.5, which is about there. It's going to give me, f4 should give me a focus range of somewhere between 0.45 and 0.6 meters. So if I take the shot as it is right now, I've got the parallax at 0.5 meters as well, so it gives me a rough idea where things are. Take the shot, and yeah, I'll get about what I thought I'd get. And everything seems to be in focus. The bike should be out of focus, which it is. The bottom of the tripod leg is pretty much in focus. Actually, the sandstone gives me a good idea of what's in focus and what's not in focus. The head is out of focus, which it should be. Alright, and there's some steps as well in the background. So let's go 16, f22. Get everything in focus, including the GoPro, and yeah, that's what it is. Everything's in focus. And at f22 on a day like today, the ISO that's chosen is 160. so much light. Yeah, so using the optical viewfinder is actually quite interesting. So you can see that there's a number of settings here. It goes from 16, 18, 21, 24, 28. There are 5 lens settings here, but there are 4 guides, view framing guides in there. Depending which way you go from. If you start from 16, then the first step you make, there's no change in the guides. But then when you go the next one, 21, then the guidelines change. And those guidelines do actually represent 21. And then the next one's 24 and the next one is 28. There's a lag of one guideline, so if you start from 28 and you go to 24, nothing actually happens, and you go to 21 and you get a different guideline now. Instead of 21, you're actually getting 24, and then 21, and then 18. So it's a bit confusing with this dial here. The parallax error seems to work well. And then there's another little thing here, that little sort of greeny, creamy dot there. That is a level. So if you want to know whether you're actually horizontal that way and vertical that way, you want to get absolutely level, there is a bubble level in there, and you can actually see that in the viewfinder, and have everything level. Then all my converging lines and everything should be level as well. Yeah, well, that's what I got. I've got theoretically horizontal lines. My horizon should be horizontal and my vertical should be vertical. Personally, on a bright day like today, I don't really like using the back of the screen. It's nice to just to use the viewfinder. When I put the camera back into my bag, I do actually take this off. It does go on the hot shoe, and there is a little dial in here that is a clamp, so you can actually undo that and do that up. So once it's on there, you just clamp it up, and that way it doesn't slide off accidentally. And if I want to remove it, then I just remove the clamp and I can just slide it off. The advantage of using the back of the screen here is that the camera has got perspective control, so you can turn that on. So if you want to see how your angles, when they get distorted when you're shooting up or in portrait or in landscape mode, then you can see on the back of the screen how the camera's going to do that. So that's the advantage of using the back of the screen or an electronic viewfinder. Alternatively, you can use the optical viewfinder and then sort of estimate, as long as you have enough space around there to do your perspective control in post-processing. Obviously, if you're using a film camera, well, then you need the optical viewfinder so you can see what your frame lines are like. Well, I'm supposed to be doing some exercise on my bicycle here and riding around the harbour, so I'll continue with my ride and then stop and then take a few shots. I'm trying out the electronic viewfinder for the M10 version of cameras, and on my monochrome here. So yeah, it works quite well. The good thing about this one is that you can actually change the viewfinder so you can get really low down to the subject, which works really well shooting the 16mm lens here. And yeah, I'm still sort of not sure which I prefer more, whether this small round device or whether it's the M11 version of the EVF that can fit this camera as well. More on that soon, but I'll around Newtown now and I'll start taking some shots. I must admit it is easier using the viewfinder than the back of the screen, I think. I don't know. I think I have to train myself to use the electronic viewfinder more often, and then I'll probably appreciate it more. Well, you know, it's always a bit awkward when you take out a lens or a camera or something's changed on your photographic equipment and you have to sort of get used to it all over again. So I haven't used my Elmar 16-18-21 Tri Elmar lens much at all. So what that means is I take it out and I got to give it a go and see what I can do with it. So that's what this video was all about. Yeah, still learning where I should or could or would use this lens. I think in summary, I'll probably use it more for the 16mm, with the 18 and 21mm as a bonus as far as the focal length is concerned. Yeah, otherwise the lens seems to be pretty sharp. It's not that big, it's not heavy, so it's quite manageable as far as the other equipment is concerned. But more importantly, I think with this setup is having an electronic viewfinder or an optical viewfinder to match. That can help with the framing and make it easier. I'll finish off this video with a few photos that I've taken with the lens over the last couple of days. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then give it a thumbs up. That's appreciated. That's how you support the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, then do subscribe. Press notifications. You'll be notified when the next video is out. Thanks again for watching and see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.